Hello guys, so I'm back and now I am giving my full review of the KZ PR1 HiFi edition. So I made a first impression of these a week ago. I forgot, a week ago. And yeah, I was impressed by the sound of these initially. And the longer I listened, my impression kind of changed a little bit, just a little bit. It's still a good set. I think it's still a good set. Just some refinement needs to be done from KZ to make this, really bang for the buck. So yeah, I'll start with the signatures. So at first I thought they were like bright U-shaped or V-shaped. So I decided that the longer I listened, they are actually the classic V-shaped signature from KZ, wherein there is a lot of emphasis in bass and treble, and the mids are kind of recessed. But when you say recessed, it doesn't really mean that it's bad. I mean, it's not always bad, because in this case it's a planar. Even if it's a little bit recessed, details are still resolved well. Just the mids are not in the same plane as the bass and the treble. So for the bass, what do I say? They're good. There's a lot of sub bass in these, and it has a good mid bass slam. I do think planars need that kind of mid bass because the transitions are fast, and if you lower the bass region, it will sound dry. I tried EQing this and they sound dry if I tone down the bass a lot. So but yeah, it's just maybe there's a little bit of refinement needed for these. This is fine. Of course, it's planar bass, very good resolution, very good details. It slams well without smearing the mids. So apart from that, it affects the overall timbre though of the mids, because sometimes male vocals sound dry, and because there's a lot of like it starts from sub bass going down, and then there's a steep increase to the ear gain. Then coming on to the mids, mids are fine, but as I've mentioned, they are recessed. They're not too forward for my preference, although you really hear details from the planar. Get a lot of micro nuances. It's actually not bad. And for the treble, now, yeah, in this case, at first I was impressed, like, oh, this is like a planar treble, and it's good because at $60, I mean, you can get this really, like you get the technicalities of a planar. But then the longer I listened, I tried a lot of tip rolling just to tame that treble a little bit, because sometimes it actually is very distracting in cymbal heavy tracks. So my library consists of a lot of cymbals, like alternative, but probably 70% has a lot of cymbals in the metal. They're just too forward, and there's this resonance from the cymbal that lingers, and it's distracting. It's not harsh, it's not fatiguing, but it's distracting. It's like taking your experience from the music. So that's what I think about it. Technicalities though, I still think they're very good for the price. I do think that this is a no-brainer. If you want technicalities for such a cheap price, yeah man, like, get the KZ PR1. Now, I rank them like A- because the tonality is not that safe for everyone. Although the bass, mids, and treble, they're fine. Technicalities are great, but I can't just put them into like more than like A+ or even an S. I also can't put them in a B because I think that they're actually good. I mean, like, compared to the other sets priced at that range, these are really good. Now, one thing to note though, planars are very responsive to EQ. I've tried to EQ this. I will be including my personal profile in the description, so please check that out. It's a PEQ. If you have some PEQ softwares, like I use UAPP. It has 6 bands. You can also try 10 bands if you like. I tried just using the 6 bands, it's easier. I tried EQing them and they are really good, like really good after EQ. I mean, my fellow reviewer as ASTERHYMIST, you can check his page. He has done a lot of EQ as well, and one of my EQs there, like vocals, is featured in his post. Better check that out. I mean, if you don't know how to EQ, you better learn, because planars at first they're very responsive to EQ. You can basically mold this one to anything, like anything. I mean, there's auto EQ and squig. It's crazy. And then mine is like it's like just a personal EQ. I call it Trippy EQ because it's really trippy, you know, like the soundstage is just so crazy with my EQ. But you can try other stuff too. So that's it. I mean, if you know how to EQ, this is a bang for the buck, man. Like it's really good. Like it's very responsive. If you don't know how to EQ, then it's an opportunity for you to learn, because this can take you far. You're gonna learn a lot from this hobby, because when you know how to EQ, everything follows, right? Like when you look at the graph, you know which one to look for, you know where you're sensitive at, so it just follows everything. Your graph reading ability just increases when you know how to EQ. I'm not saying that like I'm not encouraging EQ, but I mean, it's like, come on, like you're in the hobby, and then you look at graphs and it's just, how do I say, it's like it's imperative, right? Like you're in the hobby, and you know it's imperative for us to learn it a little bit, or just like the basics of it. So yeah, I guess that's all. I don't have much thing to say other than like it's not a great tune set, but it has the technicalities of a planar. If you're in for a budget and you know how to EQ, it's great. I mean, it's the cheapest planar you can get. $60 with discounts. I mentioned 80, but you know, $60, it's good. If you don't know how to EQ and you feel like you don't want to risk it, maybe other sets are safer for you. But I do think like after EQ they sound great. Like I don't know, like maybe competing $150 to $200 kind of sound. So yeah, my EQ will be in the description. It's a very simple PEQ. It's just a 6 band, so should be easy to follow. UAP or whatever software you have for PEQ. So that's it for it, guys. This is my review for the PR1. If you like it, you can subscribe, comment, or whatever. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a nice day. Peace up. Bye bye.